Night has fallen on the African plains. A small band of early Homo sapiens moves through the darkness, their flickering torches cutting across the desert wind. They chase a wounded antelope, their survival depending on a single meal. But the hunt is more than a struggle for food.
What is that?
It is a moment that reveals a fragile balance between human endurance and nature's unforgiving force. Suddenly, the antelope veers, and confusion spreads through the hunters. From the shadows, the roar of a cave lion erupts, forcing them into panic. Fear and determination collide in their eyes. They are not only hunters, they are also prey. Bare feet strike the cracked earth, racing against time. Each heartbeat is a reminder. In this ancient world, survival is never guaranteed. One hunter gathers the courage to stand his ground. His spear flashes in the firelight, colliding with the predator's strength. For a heartbeat, man and beast are locked in primal combat. But the wooden shaft snaps, scattering sparks into the night. The fragile line between survival and extinction grows thinner. The group flees toward the edge of a cliff, breath quickening, footsteps pounding on stone. Trapped between the abyss and the lion's advance, they huddle together, shadows trembling against the rock. And then darkness, a drumbeat echoes, a reminder of the peril that shaped every step of their journey. These were the first humans who dared to leave Africa. As night yields to dawn, the sun rises over the wide plains of East Africa. Here, a new chapter begins. A band of Homo sapiens gathers at the edge of their homeland, preparing for a journey into the unknown. A mother holds her child tightly, torn between fear and hope, while others scan the horizon, gazing north toward lands they have never seen. Across the deserts and rivers of Sinai lies the promise of survival. With simple tools and sharpened stones, they carry little more than courage. Step by step, they prepare to walk away from the birthplace of humanity, taking the first fragile path out of Africa. One elder pauses, turning back for a final glance at the land of his birth. His eyes reflect the weight of leaving behind generations of ancestors. In his palm, he grips a stone tool, both weapon and symbol of survival. Around them, life surges forward. Antelopes leap across the savanna, reminding them of nature's relentless rhythm. As night falls, the group gathers around the fire, shadows dancing on their weary faces. Stories and silence mingle in the flicker of flame. Above them, a sky crowded with stars stretches endlessly, a map of light guiding humanity's first great migration into the wider world. At dawn, they step into the vast expanse of the Sinai, a desert stretching endlessly beneath a blazing sun. Each figure is small against the immensity of sand and stone. The journey exacts its price. One collapses from exhaustion, pulled upright by the hands of kin, proof that survival depends on solidarity. Then, without warning, a sandstorm engulfs them. Eyes sting, lungs burn, and every step feels uncertain. When the storm clears, silence returns to the barren land. Nearby, the sun-bleached carcass of an antelope lies in the dust, a stark reminder of the desert's cruelty. For these early migrants, every mile forward is a wager against hunger, thirst, and time itself. Yet, even in this unforgiving land, the migrants discover new lifelines. Along the Arabian shore, they follow the trail of seashells scattered across tidal flats, evidence of food waiting to be claimed. One man smashes open a shell with a stone, tasting the salty flesh that promises survival. A child laughs as he pulls a small crab from the shallows, jaw flickering even in hardship. The group presses on, hugging the coastline where land and sea meet, learning to harvest its gifts. At dusk, they march beneath skies painted red, their silhouettes etched against the horizon. Behind them, footprints mark their passage across the sand, only to be swallowed moments later by the tide, a reminder that their struggle leaves fragile traces on the world. Beyond the endless sands, a new world awaits. The migrants step into the rugged mountains of the Levant, where green valleys and shaded cliffs contrast sharply with the barren desert they left behind. In the shelter of limestone caves at Skull, firelight flickers across rough walls, marking the first human presence in this unfamiliar land. Here, they carve simple signs into stone, a spark of memory and meaning. Outside, men track deer through the thickets with sharpened spears, while women gather berries and roots, expanding their knowledge of edible plants. For the first time, life feels less like a desperate flight and more like adaptation. In these fertile pockets, our species begins to weave the earliest threads of belonging, testing how to endure and how to stay. Children laugh as they play with a wolf pout, an early step toward a bond that will one day shape human survival. Around the fire, gestures and stories pass from elder to youth, strengthening ties beyond blood. Communities begin to form, fragile yet resilient, in small clusters beneath the mountain slopes. Life here is no longer only about enduring each day, it is about creating shared meaning. When death comes, it is met with ritual. A body is placed carefully in the earth, adorned with flowers. In this act, we glimpse reverence, memory, and the earliest signs of a spiritual world. But the climate soon turned against them. Skies darkened, and the grip of the Ice Age spread across the land. Forests withered, animals migrated, and the balance that sustained them collapsed. Hunger grew relentless, their hunts often failed, and bodies grew thin, weakened by cold and scarcity. Still, they pressed on, driven by the will to endure. Snow covered the valleys, lines cut like blades, and survival became a daily battle. Huddled around great fires, they fought against storms that howled through the night, yet even fire could not silence the fear. Faces trembled in the flickering light, every spark a fragile shield against the vast and merciless winter. But the struggle claimed its toll. One by one, the weakest collapsed in the snow, their companions mourning with grief too heavy to carry. The march grew smaller, footsteps staggering against the endless wind. Only a handful remained, wandering like shadows in a world of ice. Shelters stood empty. Fires that once promised warmth now lay as cold ashes, silent reminders of their fight. In the end, nothing was left but memory. A burial within a frozen cave, a trace of flowers over the dead, then silence. Nature reclaimed the land, leaving no sign of their passing, only a wilderness untouched by human presence. The first wave of migration faded, its trail erased by time. On the map of human history, this journey ended, leaving no descendants to carry their blood forward, yet their story was not forgotten. Fossils from Skull and Kofsa, preserved in stone, now rest in museum halls, silent witnesses of lives once lived. Scientists study these remains with care, holding fragile skulls, searching for meaning in hollow eyes and ancient bones. DNA tells the truth. These people left no genetic legacy. Still, their struggle connects us. In the faces of today's diverse humanity, we see echoes of those who once dreamed to endure. From the faces of today, we move to the skyline of New York, a symbol of how far humanity has come. Yet, every path traces back to Africa, the cradle of our species. New generations prepared for journeys their ancestors could not complete. With determination in their eyes, they succeeded carrying humanity across the earth. From space, our planet glows, alive with their legacy. We are the descendants of those who never gave up. If their story moves you, share this journey, subscribe, and keep exploring with us.